All right. Well, welcome to our Fit Company team call. Tonight we're going to talk about Facebook. So when I first became a coach, I didn't realize that there was all these formulas and algorithms to Facebook, but there is. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit first about how to boost who sees your regular Facebook page, and then I'm going to go on and talk about your Facebook like page. I did this call for Tim Smith's team the other night, and Tim and I were chatting before the call about how we're moving our business more to our like page. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but in January, the Facebook policies changed of what you are allowed to put on your regular page. And they're starting to scan your personal pages for words like sale, promotion, free, trying to think of what else. I have a girlfriend who sells that Matilda Jean clothing, I think it's called, and she actually got her page shut down. I'm sure that you guys have heard about Christine Dwyer. She got her page shut down. So you have to be very careful what you put on your personal page, which is why like pages are becoming more and more important. As Tim and I were chatting, he also mentioned that he's having trouble messaging people the YouTube videos. You know how like you send people a link to 21 Day Fix's infomercial or whatever? He was sending that to people and it was coming back with one of those little screens where you have to like put the code in that's like want to make sure you're not a robot. And so just to forewarn you, they're checking everything, including your personal messages. So I'm not saying that you can't send those videos because obviously they're a huge, sales tactic to show people, what the 21 Day Fix is or whatever program is all about. But just be aware of what you're writing in those messages. And if it becomes more and more of a problem, you might just have to say to customers, like, go to YouTube and search the 21 Day Fix, and then they'll have to pull up the video themselves. But hopefully we won't get to that.
Kristen, do you know if that was just videos from YouTube? Is that like using the videos from our back office? Because those aren't YouTube.
He said he was sending people links from YouTube for the 21 Day Fix.
Okay.
And then he went back a couple days later because he hadn't heard back from any of the people that he sent the videos to, and there was a little box asking him to input a code.
Okay.
And as soon as he put the code in, it went ahead and sent the video. So
I use a lot of the back office videos and haven't had a problem. So
I haven't had a problem.
I wonder if it's like YouTube.
I don't know.
It's like that brings it up or something.
So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, something he pointed out to me, just to be aware of, I guess. So anyway, there are a couple of terms that you need to be aware of when you're talking about Facebook. One is you could use their interchangeable terms. It's called edge rank or affinity. And basically what edge rank or affinity is where you stand in terms of ranking in the Facebook newsfeed. And so the higher your edge rank or affinity is, the more people who are going to see your posts. So how Facebook releases your posts into the newsfeed is first what they do is they release it to all the people who are considered your close friends. So the people who you interact with on a regular basis. So let's say Jenna, Mary, Sarah, Jenny, Marcy, whatever. Those are people who I talk to on a regular basis. So when I post something on Facebook from my personal page, it's going to be shown to all of my close friends' Facebook news feeds. If that post gets a lot of action, what they do is then they expand the reach. So then it'll be my close friends plus people I talk to not as frequently, but still frequently. And then if it gets more attention, then they release it to more and more and more people. That's why sometimes when you're going through your news feed, you'll see a post, let's say somebody's announcing they're pregnant or something. Those are always big posts. you might see a post that's 3 or 4 days old. It's just now making it into your news feed because of the popularity or because of the edge rank. So that's why it's really important that we're liking and commenting each other's posts, because the more likes and comments you get, the more people that will see it. There's another term called Facebook decay. There's a rumor out there that if your post doesn't get liked or commented within 20 minutes, it then decays, which means Facebook says this post is not important, nobody wants to see it, and so they remove it from the news feeds. Whether it is actually 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 42 minutes, it really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, if nobody likes or comments on your post, then nobody sees it. So once again, make sure you're liking and commenting on people's posts. Things that help raise your edge rank, like I said, likes and comments. Comments are more powerful than likes. I like to ask a lot of questions because a lot of questions generate a lot of responses. For example, the other day I thought Deacon broke his toe. And so I posted on my page, had nothing to do with Beachbody. And honestly, I wasn't even doing it to help my business. But I asked, what can I do for an 18-month-old who when I thought he broke his toe, whatever. And I got probably 30, 35 comments, and I still had people commenting on it 2 or 3 days later. The reason people were still commenting on it 2 or 3 days later was it was just popping up into their news feed, and they were seeing it. Other good posts, I think Jenna asked today, what are some good math programs for my son? Or what's your favorite brand of diapers? What's your favorite restaurant to go to? Well, those have nothing to do with Beachbody. They end up raising your Facebook affinity so that when you do mention something about Beachbody, more people are going to see it. And the thing about asking questions is you get responses from those people that you never talk to or you think don't see your things. Like all of a sudden you'll have a random friend from high school be like, oh, my favorite, bottle of wine is XYZ, that you haven't talked to in a while. And so it tends to bring people to your page that you don't interact with on a consistent basis. You'll notice that on Thursdays, we always tag people in transformations and rank advances. The reason we tag people is not only to give them credit, but also so that more people see it. So if you have the opportunity to tag somebody in the post, whether it even just be your husband, you have friends. I know I have friends, or my husband has friends that I'm not friends with. So if Dave and I are out for a date and I tag him in a picture, it's going to be seen by his friends. And that's an easy way to find new people to communicate with. Or if you go out for lunch with your girlfriends and you take a picture, tag all those people in there because it's going to show up in all of their news feeds. Another thing is primetime posting. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so my prime time is a little bit different because I'm on Facebook a lot during the day, but typical working mom, I'll just say mom because most of us are moms, would be early in the morning, 7 or 8 o'clock at night or in the morning, and then between 7 and 9 o'clock at night would be your prime time posting. So if you're posting for a challenge group, probably don't post at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it's only going to be me and Jenny who's on Facebook at that time, because most people are working. Not saying that you shouldn't ever post at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but if it's something important like a challenge group or what is coaching or something like that, try to post during those prime times. Another point is to keep your posts short. About 6 months ago, we had Steve, who is social media marketing, social media marketing for a number of companies. And his word of advice to us was to keep the post short to about 3 to 5 sentences. The reason he said 3 to 5 sentences is because if we're in a 10-second attention market, so if you don't grab somebody's attention within the first 10 seconds, they're going to keep scrolling. And so if you have a post that's 3 paragraphs long and you get to your point in paragraph number 3 after they have to click see more, they're not reading anymore. They've missed the point. Obviously, transformations, describing what a program is about, things like that have to be more than 3 to 5 sentences. So a good thing to do is to write something like, I've seen people on transformations write something like, warning, life-changing post, or you got to read this, or something that catches people's attention so that they want to keep reading. Because I don't know about you, but I might like somebody's post, but I may not have read it all because I'm on my phone 80% of the time, and if I have to click that see more button, I'm not going to take the time to do that. So keep that in mind. All right, moving on to your Facebook like page. So I'm going to get into a little bit of the, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? The features that are on a Facebook like page. So give me a second and I'll do a screen share. While I'm doing that, anybody have any questions or comments? Take yourself up, mute, obviously. Are we good? Okay. All right, so this is my Facebook like page. And what you want to do when you go to your like page is you want to click Insights. Insights has a whole wealth of information of things that you can look at. I'll go straight to here, which is my most recent, 5 most recent posts, and I'll actually click to see more posts. Just give me 1 second as it's loading. Okay, so you'll see the date, the name of the post, the reach, and the engagement. Someone besides Jenna, tell me which of those numbers is the most important. The reach or the engagement? All right, we got some good learners here. So when I used to look at this, I always used to look at the reach. I was like, oh, awesome, 494 people saw this. Wrong, you're looking at the engagement. So the engagement is the people who actually read it. So yeah, 494 people saw it, but they could have just been going like scroll, 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 and they saw it, but did they read it? I don't know how Facebook can tell. I don't know if they time it or if they choose by who clicked on it or whatever, but for this particular post, 56 people read it. 15 people either liked or commented on it. If you scroll down, I did a little goofy one about tacos. 2 people looked at it. 2 people, 1 person liked it. So when I look at that post was a total failure. This particular one, 132 people liked it. 7 for this one. My Valentine's Day post, I got a big fat 0. 0 people looked at it. Obviously, that was a bit of a failure. So obviously, I have all varying degrees of success for posts. This one is 150. I consider that to be pretty good. This one was only 4. Now you'll notice on this one, I had 4 people who read it, but 12 people who liked or commented on it. I can guarantee you the likes or comments that I got on them were just Beachbody coaches who just clicked like. They didn't even read it. So one thing you'll notice is which are the posts that mostly flop. Here's a stock photo. Here's a quote. Here's a stock photo. Let's see. Here's a stock photo. So you'll notice my stock photos and my quotes and my motivational phrases are the ones that usually fail. The ones that do well are the ones I took myself. Like, for example, how stupid is this? A picture of this calcium stuff that I take sometimes. Dumb picture. Told a little bit about myself. I struggle with anxiety a bit. Let's see, what was another one that did pretty well? This one's a picture of me. This one is a picture of my food. People love food pictures. Let's see some more that did well. Look at this one. Even after boosting this one, I only got 71. Why? It's a stock photo. Nobody's really interested in stock photos. Look at this one. A simple picture of my dinner and my snacks got 798 people. So what's my point? You need to do a mix. You have to have those stock photos and those quotes, but you need to be original in your posts. So post silly pictures of yourself. I mean, look at how silly this is. This is just a selfie of myself, but it did pretty well. 868 people saw it. So my recommendation is to show a little bit more of who you are and weave in those stock photos and those motivational posts, because you do want to motivate people and you do want that to be there, but the original photos are much better. Here's another one. One person saw this. One person. Yeah, not even worth putting up there. Okay, so here's the hire post. Questions about things not related to Beachbody. Let me see if I can find it. But one day I asked about making your bed. Apparently, asking about making your bed is a really good thing to talk about. Okay, here it is. I asked about making my bed, and I had 71 comments on this one sentence. Those are 71 people who I probably wouldn't have been able to reach if I was talking about Beachbody stuff. But since I was talking about something unrelated to Beachbody, they commented on it, and then the next time I posted something about Beachbody, they probably read it. Other things that work really well: pictures of food I've made, pictures of my kids, pictures of my other friends tagged in it. I try to, on Thursday, post the top coaches. This is an example of the top coaches post. Those always do really well because they have other people tagged in them. Sometimes when a new program comes out, or if I'm doing a challenge group with somebody else, I'll tag them in it. Transformation photos are obviously really good. Jenny, I don't remember, but your transformation photos got seen by like 2,500 people. It was something crazy. Transformation photos are huge. So anyway, try to be original. I mean, you don't have to spend all day nitpicking. Like that picture of that calcium supplement that I take took me less than 30 seconds. Just think outside the box. What if you were looking at this like page, what would you want to see? On that note, I do want to talk a little bit about sharing posts. So in the past, we've always had a general rule that if I post something, or if Jenna posts something, or somebody else on the team posts something, it's pretty much taken for granted. If you like the post, go ahead and copy it and share it. However, we're having a problem with, let's say Jenna posts something. I wish I could turn off my notifications because they just keep going off. It's that auction, I tell you. We're having a problem with people copying other people's posts too soon. So for example, let's say Jenna posted something and she took a lot of time and she got the right wording and she found the right picture and she put some time into it and she posted it. We're having a problem with, within a few minutes or hours or even a day or two, people are copying that same exact post and reposting it, which is okay. But the problem is that we have a lot of the same friends. And so it starts to look like we're all doing the same thing. So my recommendation to you is, obviously, first of all, double check, make sure it's okay that you copy that post. Second of all, wait a week before you do it. And third of all, put it in your own words. Because if I write something coming from a mom of 3, or if Jenna writes something coming from, a working mom, or Sonia writes something, it came from our heart, and when you copy and paste it, it doesn't sound like it's coming from you. So rewrite it, put it in your own words, maybe pick a different picture, and if you're going to do the same exact thing, that's totally fine. Just wait maybe a week and then repost it. The exceptions to those rules are if we're doing a clean eating group together, share away, we can all have the same post. If we're doing a What Is Coaching group, totally fine, we can do the same post. If Marcy and I are doing a challenge group together, we're probably going to have the same post. But as a general rule, try to be yourself in your posts. All right, so moving on. I feel like we're running out of time already, but this is going by fast. Another word of advice is to include a call of action in your post. And what I mean by a call of action is you're asking them to do something. Like, for example, here's a call of action. I said, did you enter yet? So I'm asking them to do something. This one, the magnesium one again, I said, has anyone used magnesium to manage stress and anxiety? How did you like it? So I included a question, a call to action. If it was a challenge group post, let me see if I can find one really, really quick. This one's a long post. I wouldn't recommend doing long posts. Oh wait, this is not it. But okay, have you tried them? But if I did a challenge group post, I might write something like comment, or message me to join. That's a call to action. So if you're not asking people to do anything, they're not necessarily going to do anything. I think this is the challenge group one. Let's see. See what I mean? See more? Nobody's going to read that. Message me for details. Please keep in mind that these groups fill up very quickly. So that's my call to action. So try to include a call to action in as many posts as possible, because that gives people the chance to interact. We're running out of time, so I think I'm going to skip the whole boost post thing. Just a quick thing that I do. I set aside about 10% of what I make a week for boosts. Usually, so if I was going to do this particular one, I would pick people who like your page and their friends most of the time. I would change this to $5, and that $5 usually gets me about 2,000 extra people, give or take, depending on the boost. And it's definitely well worth your while. When I first started, I just started by doing $5 a week, and as time goes on, I probably do $5 every other day-ish, depending on whether I have something to say or not. So something to think about. Real quick, if I can, I want to go to comparing your page to other pages. Okay, so if you go down here, you can add other pages to watch to see how you're doing compared to other pages. So I have Brandy Bots at the top. She's a page I really like. Her engagement this week was 1.3K. Obviously, I'm nowhere near that. I'm at 330 this week. Find Your Fit with Heather. That's Heather Rice. She's a coach from Canada. She does pretty well. She's at 262. Mary Curtin, my personally sponsored coach, is at 125. This girl, Angie, lives in Singapore now, so she's not really doing Beachbody anymore. So I was at 330. I had 20 posts this week. Jenna's had 11 posts. She's at 289. This is Tim Smith. He had 33. Julie had 35. Diane Barkis had 3. Now, when I start looking at some of these numbers do worry me. When I only see that you've posted maybe 1 time or 4 times or whatever, your numbers are going to be very low. You know, having only 30 people look at it or 62 people look at it in an entire week, you're not going to get a whole lot of customers from that. So just make sure that you're posting enough and that you get those engagement numbers up. What Jenna's at right here, just under 300, is perfect. You know, that's where she should be. I try to be within the 300 range. If I can be more than that, I know I'm having a good week. If it drops down a little bit, you can look at your engagement right here. So I'm up 3.7% from last week. Jenna's up 3.9% from last week. So we're in the green. So we're doing okay. But if you start to see your engagement numbers go down, that's when you know that you need to reevaluate your audience. Which, speaking of audience, my audience is ages 25 to 35-year-old women. So if I look at my people, 96% of my fans are women. You look at the age gap or age span in there, majority of my fans are 25 to 34 or 35 to 44. So I'm exactly where I should be for my like page. So I'm targeting my audience because you're never going to make everybody happy. So pick your audience. Who do you want to target? And focus on them. Post things that they would be interested in. So, last thing I'm going to say is there is a schedule option on your page. So if you cannot get to your page on a regular basis, please use this little scheduler right here and schedule your posts. If you have time, sit down for an hour and schedule your posts for the entire week. So at least you're saying something. As you can see, I have one scheduled post for tomorrow night. Usually what I do is I try to take an hour here and there and schedule 4 or 5 posts. And so if I can't get to the computer, at least I know that's done. So having said that, I want Jenna to take over and talk about how she turned her like page around and started getting tons and tons of engagement. So Jenna, it's off to you.
Okay, so I started my like page, I think, like a year ago. And when I started my like page, I had the intentions of talking about faith, family, and fitness, because those were the 3 things that are every day in my life. I think actually my original title of my like page was Healthy Mom, Healthy Family. And having a like in showing that like what I'm doing is making my family healthy, which was big to me, having my son Jacob with special needs and all of his health issues. Like, hey, look it, if I promote healthiness, he can be healthier. My like page name, and at that time planned more about, instead of just fitness and health, my family story. So if you go to my like page, the about section says something like, in 2008, my entire life was turned upside down when I had my first son. And basically it said, who's going to be 7 now next week, was born with neurological defects and how it's affected our lives so much. So I'm sharing that on my page. Kristen and I met with Jeff a few months, 6 weeks ago, whenever Super Saturday was. We met with him the Friday before Super Saturday. He's from corporate, and he said to me, what are you doing to expand your network? And he really like put it upon me to like share more of my story. And my story is my son and how his health issues and his special needs have made me become a healthier person, and made me focus more on myself. And I guess he gave me a couple different like pages to follow, of other people that have special needs, kids that are doing Beachbody successfully. So what I've been doing is, not only do I share recipes and Beachbody posts, but I share specific things to Jacob. Like I shared when we were dealing with insurance issues. I shared when he has therapy. I share when we changed his medications. Things that people like want to know more. And what I'm doing is I'm telling his story, which keeps people engaged. And they go back to your page when you do that to find out more. Like, hey, we started Jacob on a new medication today. You know, and I said something about like, please pray that, you know, this first week back to school, he adjusts well. And now I have to do a follow-up post to it. Because guess what? People read that post and now they want to know what happened. And I have that obvious story. You know, I have Jacob, I have how he changed our lives. And I have my 3-year-old who is like embracing kind of the big brother side of it, because he's a regular normal 3-year-old and his 7-year-old brother is special needs. So I kind of share their story and their relationships and how Mike and I deal with it. And the thing is, that's how I have completely changed my engagement. Like, went from 400 likes to almost 600 likes. Way more engagement than I ever did. But I still put in those Beachbody posts, those health posts, those motivational posts, because the people I'm reaching because of my story are then also seeing my health posts, my motivational posts, my Beachbody posts, which is bringing me new customers and new, you know, people to my clean eating groups and what is coaching groups. And I guess the thing for each of you to remember is, even if you don't have a story like that, you have a story. You're a mom with 3 kids, or you're a single mom with 2 kids, or you know, like, everybody has a story. I have a couple coaches are like, I don't have a story. And I'm like, you do have a story. You just have to find it. You have to find your story. And I guess if I didn't have Jake, I don't know, I would have to find a different story. But somewhere you have a story. Maybe it's you were unhealthy and got healthy, and what made you want to do it. And that's the one thing that I've kind of told my personally sponsored. What is your why? Why did you start working out? Why did you start, and why did you become a coach? Because oftentimes your why, somewhere in there is your hidden story. So if you can share that, even if it's only 2 or 3 posts a week, that's going to get people engaged. And now that I do share Jacob's story on my like page, I have Facebook groups that I'm part of. An epilepsy group, a hydrocephalus group, a Chiari malformation group, all of these things, a brain tumor group, all of these things that my son has. And I can legitimately post in there when I give an update on him. At the bottom, I'll post my like page, and I'll say, if you want to continue, you know, for anybody that wants daily updates or to follow Jacob's everyday life, go to my like page. And I've gotten likes from that. So, you know, also think about those Facebook groups you're in, and maybe your story comes from there. Did I cover it all?
Yeah, and I was going to say, I know Krista Deckinga is not on this call, but I was talking with Mary today about Krista Deckinga, and when I think of Krista Deckinga, I think of someone who's very fashionable and stylish and trendy and stuff like that, and that could be her story. Yeah. You know, she could incorporate the Beachbody stuff with, like, you know, new shoes or a new outfit that she wore or a makeup thing she tried or whatever. I'm very artistic, so, like, I'll show pictures of me doing crafts with my kids or, you know, stuff like that. Pretty much my story is just my kids. Mm-hmm. But I encourage you to find your story, because nobody wants to go to a like page and see a picture of little containers. Mm-hmm. That's not going to, you're not going to look at a picture of little containers and be like, I want to change my life today. You know?
And I, a lot of times, like my random motivational posts or things like that people.
Do we lose you? Uh-oh.